Hey guys, welcome back to Skin Anarchy. This is your host Ekta. I'm very excited about the brand we're interviewing today because I think there's very few brands out there that are really kind of approaching skincare with this inclusivity mindset of it's for everybody. They're targeting concerns that might be very specific to more melanated rich skin and also for all of us, right? So I think that's very unique whenever I find a brand like that. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to the president of Buttah Skin, Tomara Watkins. Welcome, Tamara. I'm so excited to host you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here too. So funny. Like if we want to go all the way back. So
Yeah.
when I was in high school, I used to spend a lot of time at the libraries, the public libraries in Tallahassee, Florida, Panhandle area of Florida. And I remember stumbling upon this book by Kevin Aucoin, the makeup artist who has, who recently, unfortunately, he passed. But seeing the images in his books just really just inspired me when it came to beauty. And so I went off to college, studied chemistry with the hopes of becoming a cosmetic formulator. That didn't happen. However, while I was in college, I started working for MAC and for Bobbi Brown and just really thrust myself into the world of beauty. And after working as a makeup artist, it was a grind. As a 20-something-year-old, I lived in DC. Most of the work was in New York at the time. Like if you wanted to do like magazine work, fashion type of work, like you had to go back and forth to New York, and that just kind of it was a grind on me. And then I kind of realized like the makeup artists that are really making the money, they typically, they own brands or they have some ownership in brands. And so I set out to understand how to market myself really as a makeup artist to these agencies that were making all these hiring decisions. And I just stumbled into marketing. And I had a really great boss who, at the time, digital marketing was still the wild, wild west. And because he didn't want to be bothered, with the digital space. And I was really interested in the internet and how to market the business on the internet. Like I remember he just like gave me a Google Ads book for dummies. And he was like, here, read this book and figure out, how we can get like on Google Ads. And so
Yeah.
that experience, and I remember being a little frustrated at it because there was no guidebook in a way. Like he was my boss, but he didn't even know how to guide me other than here's some resources that you can leverage in
Yeah.
out how to do your job better. But fortunately for me, I'm the type of person like once I'm interested in something, I'm just naturally curious. And I took that opportunity and just really went 10 toes down into the world of digital marketing. So I started digital marketing for a magazine. Then from there, I worked with some really cool brands. Like I led the digital marketing for Bevel right before they were acquired by Procter and Gamble. I worked with some pretty cool hair care brands, Hyper Skin, and now Buttah Skin. I actually started with them as the digital marketing lead as a contractor about 5 years ago, and I just ran all the background digital marketing stuff. But I always had questions about, every part of the business, because with marketing, you need to know what drives the business, like what levers, whether it's operationally
Right.
or inventory wise, or whether it's the direct marketing channels that you control, like what is driving the business. And so that's how I ultimately became um, president of the brand, because I was just asking all the right questions. I was a business owner myself, so I understood like the pain points of business owners and founders. And when Dorian stepped away, who's actually the original founder of the brand, I was tapped to step into the role just because they're like, you've been running it, for 5 years anyway. So you just, step in and manage some additional channels. It was it was tough in that I didn't have anyone that I could directly reach out to, because it's
Yeah.
kind of like AI now, right? Like there's no real experts in AI right now. Like there's people who have more experience using the tools, but even they aren't experts because it's changing so rapidly. So what you think you know today might not even be true in 2 months. So that's how it was back then. Like there were people who could, help guide you just because maybe they've been using some of the tools longer. But digital marketing was changing so rapidly. There weren't a lot of people that I could reach out to and say, hey, can you help to guide me and mentor me? There were people in the business space, right? But not specifically in the digital space. And, business is the same. You're either selling a service or a product. So you could get people to guide you on the business, but just not on the specific tools that were being used. So Buttah was started back in 2018. It was started by Dorion Renaud, who he is an actor. And his father owned a barbershop in Beaumont, Texas. And so he grew up around seeing grooming practices. And he always says, like growing up in the barbershop, he could see how when a man got out of his father's chair after getting, this complete grooming service, how it really helped to elevate his confidence. So he understood how important grooming and taking care of your skin and your personal appearance is to people. However, he also grew up having problematic skin challenges, like, he had acne and blemishes. And as a result of having acne and blemishes, most people of color tend to hyperpigment or get dark spots after the actual inflammation has taken its course. And he would go to drugstores and he just wouldn't see drugstores, department stores, and he wouldn't see people reflected on the ads that look like him and that look like his mothers and his sisters and his friends. And so as he completely immersed himself in the world of acting and modeling, the pressure was really high in that industry to always look amazing. Now, luckily, you have talented makeup artists that can make your skin look great while you're on set. But when you go home, you have to wash the makeup off. And his challenge came from when he washed the makeup off, he did not like how his skin looked. And so he did a lot of the treatments, but nothing really worked. And in the Black and African communities, there's a miracle ingredient, I guess I'll call it, called shea butter. And so after having tried pretty much a lot of different treatments, he was in New York one day in Harlem. And if you've ever walked the streets of Harlem, there's the commerce that's taking place in Harlem is just completely amazing. Even, without brick and mortar stores, there's people on the street selling all type of things. And so he purchased some shea butter and he was like, I've tried everything else. What else do I have to lose? And so he tried it and it worked. And he paired that with vitamin C. And one day he happened to run into someone who owned a lab. And he was just telling them, just dreaming out loud about what he wanted to do, which was bring a skincare brand to life for people of color that would help with the skincare challenges that he had recently learned how to solve by pairing vitamin C and shea butter together. And so he was just, it was his lucky day because they were able to partner up and bring Buttah to the market. Thank you. And we actually work with a dermatologist named Dr. Ron Bosley. And I actually went to Howard University with him, and he has a skincare clinic down in Dallas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And he was saying, as a dermatologist of color, the number one skin issue that patients come in, seeking solutions for is for hyperpigmentation and dark spots. The number one. So I agree with you in that, you do need to formulate with those type of concerns in mind and not make them an afterthought. And at Buttah, they're not an afterthought. Yeah, so that was actually a brainchild of Dorion. Because he's a bald guy, and so in order to maintain that flawless bald look that he's pretty much known for, you want to make sure that you are exfoliating the skin. And so if you're shaving your head, you're also exfoliating the skin on your head. And so he'd been using some scrubs, but, he wanted to really perfect it. And so he went back and forth with our formulators to make sure that the final product was perfect. And it's funny that you said it because my husband also loves that product. And I like to use that product when I'm wearing makeup. So after this interview, I'm going to go and wash my face because I didn't wake up like this, but I'm going to go and wash my face. And that's always the first product that I use. And then I'll follow up with our whipped butter just to break down the makeup even more. And then I use our gentle cleanser. But yeah, it's Dorion's brainchild. So I know this sounds a little cliche, but we really do keep the customer at our core. And we have customer personas. So when we're coming up with any type of social campaigns or visuals, we always go, okay, which customer persona would this resonate with? And if it won't resonate with any of them, it's funny because in my head, I talk to these people. So I go back and forth and I'll say, okay, what would she say about this? What would he say about this? And if the response, in my head is like, they say, oh, it's cheesy, then I say, no, it's cheesy. We need to make some alterations or just completely scrap it and go back to the drawing board. But also, I would say that Dorion had in terms of setting the visual in the soul of the brand, he was responsible for that because he was very much about flawless execution of the campaigns. There was pretty much zero room for error when it came to that. So I know when I was putting things together for him, it had to be presented, in to reflect our customers and what resonates with them. And so he, basically trained me in that way. And so that's how I think about it now. I'm always having this dialogue with our customers. Well, everyone on Buttah's team is of the culture. Like our team is pretty diverse. And even one of the things that I wanted to task our team with at the beginning of the year was how can we be even more inclusive? And so, like, for example, like our creative director, Anna, she's Latina. And so it's just like, Anna, how can we lean more into the Latin community? We have other people on our team, like they're like of Arabic background. So they're like, we have Egyptians. And then like, I always try to I just observe and I talk to people. So for example, like I feel like the brand is really like the roots is deep in the Black community and the African American community, but I wanted to expand that. So for example, how do we celebrate other cultures? Like for example, Eid.
Yeah.
There's Black people that celebrate Eid and there's other people of color that celebrate Eid. Like my neighbors are from Sudan, and just even going to a lot of their cultural events and their family events, like I realized like, hey, we're not even as diverse and as inclusive as we thought we were being. So how do we continue to inform our community that, hey, you can come and sit at this table. You're welcome here. We celebrate your culture too. Beauty is supposed to be the safe space. It's supposed to be inviting to, as many people that wants to come and sit and hang out and bring positive energy. I don't know if you're in my inbox, but like we're trying to launch this new product. Originally, this product was supposed to launch. Our board was pushing me to launch it in March. Yeah. And I can't tell you what the product is, but I can give you, I'll drop some seeds here. But we were supposed to launch it in March just because seasonally, it was the best time to launch it. And as we were testing out the product, like I tested on my friends, I have a group of customers that I test products out with as well. And then, like I said, our team is pretty diverse. So we have a variety of skin tones and backgrounds to get that POV from. And, everyone was saying like, it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. And sometimes I can push, too hard, but I also try to encourage my team, hey, you have to keep me honest. Make sure I'm not living in the land of Delulu, is this product ready? Is it not ready? Like we were down to the wire because we had to continue to push the timeline back. And I was just like, okay, now we're getting into fall and this back to school. It doesn't make sense to launch this type of product in the fall because it's a summer product. And so it was just like, is this product ready? Yay or no? And it's just like, no. And so I had to go to the board, and that's a hard thing to do, to the board and say it's not ready and here are the reasons why. However, we can, wait another couple of months and launch it, at the top of the spring. It sucks because, you do your revenue forecast based on new product development, but it's just not ready. And I don't feel comfortable launching a product it's not ready because it's going to do more harm than good. Like you have one chance really to resonate with customers. It's not a comeback later. Like, when you go to a restaurant or some business, you see that sign, it says come back at 3:00. Like that's not how customers work in today's world. It's like, I'm just gonna find another product that works for me. Yeah. And if it's transformative, which I do believe this product is, like you are going to want to purchase it because you'll see the results. But yeah, it is difficult to do, and I think most of that decision to bring products to market when they're probably not ready yet, I would say is layered. One is that there are revenue obligations tied to that new product release, but
Yeah.
secondly, a lot of brands go, okay, don't let perfect get in the way of done. And so I that hits with me, and I say that to my team all the time. However, um you have one chance. I think a lot of brands just think, they can launch it, get feedback, and then iterate from there. But, if a product sucks and you launch it, like, it's just basically going to die a slow or maybe a quick death. So we are venturing more, we're going deeper into body, but it's not what you think. It's not a lotion or a body
Ooh.
wash. So yeah, we're going deeper into body though. Not fragrance.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Actually, we'll send it to you. Like, once
Okay.
I want to do one more round of. I just got the most recent round and I tried it out. I'm actually down in Atlanta, and I forgot it in Atlanta because I really wanted to test it out in this southern Georgia heat and humidity, but I
Yeah.
left it. But I mean, I live in a DC area, so it's pretty hot and humid there as well. But I wanted to just kind of do one more round of, like, out with my son on a
Yeah.
hot summer, day, as many days we have left in the summer, to see, like, how does this product hold up. And if it holds up, then I'm going to green light it. And then, we basically shot all the marketing assets for it already because we thought we were going to launch it sooner. I would say too, and this also sounds cliche, but I'm going to elaborate, trust the process. When you're younger, like, that's the time to, like, be curious and learn as much as you can, because if you constantly make strategic moves and know that everything you're learning or doing professionally, it you should be developing some type of transferable skills. So, for example, when I was in college, I worked in retail. Like, I worked at MAC. And I remember thinking, like, I'm in college, this job is temporary. Like, this is just a stepping stone. And to be honest, I don't even know if I was thinking of it as a stepping stone when I was in it. But now that I, can see the forest from the trees, I see that that was a stepping stone for me when it comes to now being president of Buttah, running, our retail. So I know I can speak from experience of how to speak to customers. We have a field rep team that we've deployed across different Ulta, Macy's, and JCPenney locations. And so now, like, I know how to train our field team in order to sell. So that's what I mean. Like, just know that, to trust the process, like, but also make strategic moves for where you want to go. To, like, run, everyone wants
Yeah.
to be CEO, and I was no exception either. Like, I remember telling my friends when I was in my 20s, I think I was like 23, 24. And I remember telling my friends, I was like, a marketing manager at this company. And I was like, man, if the CEO can just get out of my way so I can, like, run it.
Yeah.
How arrogant, how arrogant for me to think,
Yeah.
with maybe 1 or 2 years of experience, that I had the breadth of knowledge to run a multi-million dollar company. Now I do, but at 22, I didn't. So it's just like, yeah, you do need to put in the work, and you need to be extremely curious. I find so many people aren't curious beyond the job that they do. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, like, you need to be curious about, like, to go and talk to the person in finance, go and talk to the person in operations, go and talk to the person in customer service. Like, you need to know how all the different levers that run a business, that contribute to the business.
Thank you so much. This has been such a fun interview, and I love Buttah, and I love what you guys are doing. I can't wait to try the new product. I'm super excited to check
Thank
it out. Yeah.
you too. Thank you for having me. This is so great. I love what you're doing too.
Thank you so much.